So tonight I wanted to share some things, some pieces that I've never shared in public before. So I hope you enjoy. Wade in the waters, wade in the waters, sister, wade in the waters. Remember, God's gonna trouble the waters. She had struggled in the depth of these waters for too long. Thrashing against the current, things began to fall free from the waves. Daily, she forced herself up for air. One last time, she would tell herself, but living should not be this hard, nor should loving. Wade in the water, sister, wade in the water. Remember, God's going to trouble the water. Moss had covered the remnants of her heart many years ago. Now each beat felt strangled by the confinement of a dirty mouth that made empty promises of presents and hands tying pretty bold presents. She no longer wanted to swim these waters, yet she could not force buoyancy or communicate to her arms to paddle forward or her feet to keep moving, nor could she simply drown. No, these waters required that she lift her hand above the tide. She must raise her voice towards the heaven, bidding help to come back once more. This time, she would receive what showed up. This time, she would desire to live. This time, she would choose to be saved. Wade in the waters, wade in the waters, sister, wade in the waters. Remember, God's gonna trouble the waters. Praying like Grandma had. The world is in an uproar. The world is in an uproar. So I decided to search in the drawer for the deposit that Grandma left. Brown curled up pages of prayer, I unfold their power. Spreading them across the floor in my center room, I choose to first walk on them, giving my standing strength, 'cause she wrote some scripture in her signature curly penmanship. On the back side of those tattered pages, then I got down on my knees, allowing the heart of those words to reinforce the sinew and cartilage that would give the necessary leverage as I alternated between walking and kneeling, kneeling and walking. Then I lay on my face. Right upon those pages of prayers, they're still relevant even for today. And I cried out to God, heal our land, wailing from my soul, just as Grandma had. So I remember when I first heard the news that Dr. Amiri Baraka had passed on. Actually heard on Facebook, Awari posted something about it. And it wasn't long before, you know, we're poets, and so a lot of times we are reactionary as well as observing. But this is my piece in honor of him, for Amiri. If I could hear him speak. When my time is over, let me go. hold on to me not, for this world has grown too cold for me. The warmth of humanity plays hide and seek with my spirit, so just let me be. The reality of my existence etched across pages, hearts, and the souls of those who listened, received, and were changed. By words I wrote but did not author, for my hand was always guided by the heavenly scribe. I watched wars waged in politics tick-tocking, money that exchanged hands and crumpled lives for the wealth of wicked wise men who followed not the star but their own vain greed. I've known love, held it, embraced its essence, then let it go only for it to boomerang back to me, sending it sailing towards me. Stronger and with more might this time, I've kissed life adieu and anew. But now my body craves the peace of after. So let me go you must. But simply hold on to who I was and who I shall forever be. Poet with pen and warrior with the right to write. Remember that I passed this way. Remember me, my spirit, my strength, my names, Everett, Leroy Jones, Imamu, Amiri, Baraka, sun rising, 1934, sun setting, 2014. I wonder. Sometimes I wonder if I'll always write. I wonder if I will always possess the ability to see what is hidden in the truth. If I will always continue to possess the ability to paint with forgotten shades of color, or to state the obvious unobtrusively and with the care of a skilled surgeon, dissecting the layers of a lived life. I wonder if I will always obey the beckoning of the pen, waking me at random intervals throughout the night hour until it is finished. I wonder if the ink will continue to run free and clearly across the blank pages entrusted to my markings. I sometimes wonder if my heart will continue to receive the prompting to tell a story that I do not own, but have been privy to observe. I wonder if I will always hear the gentle chiding of the heavens, compelling me to write the untold story, waiting to be found in the story told. I wonder, shall the ink ever run dry? If the pages will ever cease to be? If my hand shall ever forget the comfort of holding the pen and the space to write all that has been given? I wonder. So in July 2014, I was here at Pen and Pencil, and I can't remember if it was for the release of Lamont Steptoe's, I believe so, of his magazine. But he shared some very intimate things with us that night, and I began to pen, and I believe I was sitting right over there. So this is for Mr. Steptoe. Tonight I watched humanity's son unfold his pain, and I wanted to wipe his tears. They flowed from his heart through his words, touching every color of the rainbow that had gathered at his feet. Various shades of acknowledgement and respect began to twist into a beautifully woven cord, which he wound around his waist, tying off knots at various points in his journey, each gaining strength and momentum, securing and enveloping history as he called forth the voice of poets, long gone but never forgotten. I heard the whisper of Etheridge and was chided to read him, The drumbeat in the background, now at the foreground, and tutelage begins to take place. They were all gathered here in this room, under the rhythm of his voice, awaiting his permission to release their power. The scribes which he studied, became acquainted with, developed a connection to, he becoming them and they becoming him. We sit anxiously, poised to glean from his gift. Words etched in the universe, we pluck their virtue, dine upon their sustenance, and become full and rich from their worth. He challenges us to move swiftly above, between, and beneath the truth of the many stories. As the words unfold, they must be remembered. They must be told, even in the Congo Square. Tonight, I watched humanity's son unfold his pain, and I wanted to wipe his tears. Yet I sensed that they had purpose, providing vast rivers in places where drought was prevalent. They flowed from his heart, through his words, touching every soul that had gathered to listen. So, this piece is called The Slug and I, The Slug and Us. And it's just a fun piece. There's a slug on my kitchen floor. I have no idea when it arrived. It just decided to be. I wonder what you feel when I touch you with my words, full of truth on purpose. One day I looked up and us appeared. The truth of how we arrived here has left two hearts tender and cautious, yet the slug never moved. So I had the opportunity to see the detail of its spineless back. Funny how it has the strength to show up, seeing that it has no real support. I gave you a back rub last night, careful to warm the oil as I kneaded small circles into the flesh that covered the stretch of your back. This relaxed your ability to be here. And then, I feel safe now. I've experienced the sincerity of your touch. The slug refused to move, though I know it's alive. I had to help it, so I set it on the back porch. I like your presence, warm and inviting. We sit for hours, wrapped in the melody of silence, searching for familiar lines that we do not find. I woke this morning, rushed to the place in the kitchen where the slug once sat motionless. The space was empty. I climbed each step 2 by 2, making haste to my bedroom, and there you lay in the same space that you were in last night, after lovemaking and us. The slug never did return. Wow. That place called beautiful be my destination. A place where color has no boundary, money no value, and love has no condition. That place called beautiful where mental has no illness, hearts never break, and brown boys don't die young. That place beautiful where little girls don't become girlfriend to mommy's boyfriend, fists never rest upon pretty faces, and men step forward from absent spaces, no longer bowing to self-defamation based on social castration at the hands of a legal system that considers injustice justifiable, based on the presence of melanin. In that place called beautiful, humanity returns to its original intent. Compassion is not consumed by selfish ignited passion, and pro-ballers, politicians, comedians, and actors don't get a pass, but called to confess. And cops misusing their uniform power are removed from the force. That place called beautiful, where missing lives don't dissolve in disappearing dialogue trumped by the next televised cause, especially if black lives really do matter. I must get to that place called beautiful, where suffering ceases its silence, where world hunger is fed and peace waters every corner of drought. Beautiful is where I yearn to be. Heart, mind, soul, and spirit perfectly aligned in unity. If you're looking for me, I'll be on a journey, on my way to that place called beautiful. So, just because this is a sister piece, and we have 3 of my wing sisters in the room, this is for Chris, Jazz, and Angel, and it's called Finding God at the End of Self. The rain found me seated, Indian style, on the floor listening to Coltrane's Blue Train, easing the melancholy with green tea and PJs. A weak knock interrupted the peace I was trying to summons up. Slowly rising to my feet, I opened the door and she tumbled in. A loud, soppy morning mess. She carried crumpled bags in each hand and wrinkled life rolled up under her arms. I avoided her eyes, though she searched mine for comfort. I simply had nothing to give to her today. I'd run out of the strength to pull her up. From the self-imposed drowning she insisted on revisiting, she was my sister. Not by blood, but by choice. I loved this woman with all of my heart, but I could no longer want for her more than she wanted for herself. Watching her life on a continual spiral down, peeled away layers of myself that depleted me. She fell down on the chair across from me, and she said, "My soul is tired." I looked in her eyes and saw that this time it was the beginning of the end of her. And I said, "Good. He's been waiting." We kneeled down together and sought the Lord for her soul. We did like 2 minutes. Can I do a love poem?
Sure.
Yes. Can I do a love poem? I mean, I know that our brown men are dying at the rate faster than the speed of light, their existence shot into oblivion, as Congress holds sessions around an open grave designed to bury our hope. And right now, another mother is weeping. But can I do a love poem? As ISIS holds our thoughts hostage and the idiot box grips our attention, blaring the blasted beliefs of those blaspheming bullies believing their biased bigotry is blameless, I wonder, can I please do a love poem? Even as Flint finds colored water that existed before the knowledge lit our consciousness, tested, tainted systems visibly invisible, and the battle of evil is played out in opposite parties, forcing the constituents to choose the lesser evil. I just really want to do a love poem. While marriages are dividing and divorces are conquering the existence of the two-parent home, and latchkey kids are latched to secret sanctioning by self-serving shadows boxing at their innocence, I really, really need to do a love poem. Yes. Because mother is preoccupied, father is an absent presence, and son has disappeared into skunk-scented vapors as baby girl seeks comfort in each slice of her arm. Yes. And the wheels on this dysfunction goes around and around and around. Is it all right if I please do a love poem? When God is squeezed out of buildings, Bibles find a new translation to water down the truth so that it's digestible by the infancy of grown-up intellect, and the idea of relationship versus religion becomes marginalized as if we have forgotten that from relationship we were formed, and in relationship we are maintained. Viable anatomical wills free to choose, yet we choose amiss. and a whole generation dies ignorant right in front of our eyes. Please, can I simply do a love poem that reveals the wonders of a first kiss? That initial meeting of breath upon breath, fingers lace, hearts race just at the sight of him or her. Heart is lost in thoughts of the last time as the butterflies return, and every encounter intentional, each engagement a coming together of passion, of intimacy and peace. This devotion one to another when destiny meets and souls greet the idea of forever. I simply wanted to do a love poem because in the midst of all this pain, destruction, chaos, and disappointment, it's the only hope that we have, love. Because otherwise, I simply have to do a conscious poem.
Wow.